Hello and good afternoon, Xbox Nation. Welcome to the return of X Vlog Live. I'm your host, Mr. Boomstick XL. And ladies and gentlemen, my God, the Xbox show, the Xbox Bethesda show, I should say, is only a few days away. And talk about another incredible manic Thursday, just news after news after news. I wasn't even sure that I was going to do this show because I had taken a couple of weeks off, obviously, because we had to move breakfast at Boom. And I thought, well, you know what? I'm just going to take the day off and kind of play some games. And then all this news broke, and I said, you know what? I got to put a show together. And I needed a co-host with the co-most. Hey, Mr. Badbit, what's up, brother? How you feeling?
What's going on, dude? I'm looking at the Forza gameplay right now, and let me tell you, Kylo Ren's skin, like, this is what makes Forza so great to me. It's like the custom skins you put on your cars.
It's crazy. Yeah,
like seeing Kylo Ren on the side, man. That's awesome. I can't wait. The hype's gotten to me. Like, for the past few weeks, even days. Like I was talking to a friend of me at the show, AZ Bowden, who's really old. He's just like he just got it. He's like, I feel like I'm now finally at the peak of excitement. Like I'm here now. You know, it's hit me now too. I'm like, okay, so in a few hours I get to see more of Callisto Protocol.
Yeah.
God,
yeah.
It's gonna be so good.
I mean, listen, obviously, there is an event happening today. The Keeleys, as they're called, Summer Games Fest, will be happening 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm not covering it. I know Boxenberger is going to be having a show. He has a great panel. I suggest you get over there and you show him your support by watching the show there. For me, if it would have been happening now, we would have covered it live. I would have put a whole panel together. It's happening at 2. I got to be out the door by 3:15 to get over to pick up Mrs. Boomstick for 4 o'clock. So it wouldn't have made sense. So that's why I said, you know what? Let's put an X Vlog Live show together. And then what happens, Joe? News after news after news. I mean, we have 4 news bombs. This is probably going to be a 90-minute show. There's just no doubt about it because there's just literally too much to get into. But Joe, look, I want to thank you last night. He was one of the highlights of last night's unbelievably epic 16 content creator guests, including the panel for Primetime Gaming. I was nervous the entire day because, you know, those shows when they're that big have the possibility of getting out of control.
And many moving parts, man. Like one guest, let alone 16.
Yeah.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah, it just so happened that everyone came in their proper times that we discussed, and it just flowed. It flowed just really great. But listen, let's open up with Forza. That's what we're here to talk about. That's what's on the screen. First of all, Joe, it was reported earlier this week that Forza Horizon 5 has officially crossed 20 million players. Now, the reason why I want to talk about that first is because they have now, and I say they, Playground Games has now joined some incredible company. And the 2 things that jump off the page when you talk about that kind of millions, Spider-Man 2018, 25 plus million, right? That's a big number. That game is the chef's kiss. But you know what also is big? Animal Crossing, 37 million. So when you take these 3 behemoths and you put them in a room, you say to yourself, well, you know, each game that has these millions and millions of sales and people touching the game. Well, Spider-Man came out and it just did gangbuster numbers, but to get to that 20 million, it took a while. It took a while to get to that 20 million. Now, the Animal Crossing, well, it had the pandy in its back pocket, and everyone was stuck at home, and they had this new game, and it was a life simulator that everything on that island is just, you know, unicorns and rainbows, and it made you feel good about playing the game because guess what? The world sucked, right? So now we turn around and we look at this game, a racing game, a very, very niche genre for many, many people. How many tweets and how many DMs I got from people saying, hey, I never liked Forza, Boom, but I played this game and I'm out of my mind on it. And that is the Game Pass effect. So just you know, again, this is just the opening salvo to the big show that we're going to have, Joe. How big is it that 20 million people played this game?
I think it goes to show the effect that Game Pass has on just people trying things out,
Yeah.
right? Um, to me, when I take a look at that number, and like you're right, Forza a racer, that's a more we consider niche, but I like what my friend Sean Capri says, like millions upon millions of people play this game,
Yeah.
right? Or and are into racers. Like this isn't like we got to redefine what does niche mean, right? And when thinking about that, you take a look at like the racing market, the car market, the enthusiast market. Um, Not everybody's going to buy an Xbox for this, but an opportunity arises to go out there and have something like a barrier to entry, like a Xbox Series S, a PC at home, or maybe you are willing to go for the big bucks and get the X. That's a huge thing that opens the doors up to so many people going, you know what, I've never tried a racer before, or like I've heard things about Forza, or I've been away for so long, I'll just try it out. And that's what, to me, I think is the biggest effect that you know Game Pass has on people, where it's just like, I'll try this out. Because like I doubt most people, like even me, like I played Forza Horizon. I got like a few hours in, I appreciated it. And probably when the next one comes out, I'll go and I'll try it out too. But I don't think like people are getting to the beginning to end. But I don't think that also matters when people are just, again, it's that Game Pass effect of like, ooh, let me just try this out. Let me see how this is. And maybe you get 20 million people in, and maybe only 8 million stick. But those 8 million that stick, they're going to buy the DLC. They're going to buy, whatever decals that are in the store. That's what really the effect of what I feel Game Pass has on folks, where, people try to claim that these numbers are bloated, and maybe they are. But the grand scheme of things is you're going to have so many more people stay just because they simply tried it, and the barrier to entry is so small that, yeah, they'll go out there and they'll buy a battle pass or whatever have you
Yes. That's
to help
correct.
support that game going further. So to me, it's great news for the series. It's great news for smaller, or what we perceive as smaller niche titles, to say, hey, you can find an audience here. So I dig it, man. It's good news.
Yeah, you know what? Speaking of DLC, folks, the breaking news. We're early in. Joe, we got 215 people here. We're only a few minutes in, which is amazing. The breaking news comes the way of, well, the biggest leaker of them all, Steam. Steam leaked the new DLC for Forza Horizon 5, folks. And guess what? They are returning to Hot Wheels. That is confirmed. And you know what? Look, I can honestly say that for me personally, being a selfish person, being a very selfish podcaster, content creator, I played with these orange and blue tracks as a kid.
Yeah.
So to understand this, I used to stay in the living room. I used to drive my poor father crazy. I would build these tracks, these loop-de-loops. I would take up the whole living room. He's stepping over them, trying not to knock anything down. He's sitting on the couch watching me play with these things. And now 51 years later, right? I'm an old man. I'm 50. I'm going to be 52 this year. I have an opportunity to play on my screen a game that I played as a kid. Do you understand how incredible that is? Again, I say this, and I'm not being facetious, folks. When you have seen the industry grow the way I have, I'm a very, very lucky individual. Very, very blessed in a way that my father, who is my hero, brought home the Atari 2600 in 1978. And my life has been changed ever since. I have seen gaming grow from sticks and dots to what you see on your screen, and it's awe-inspiring for sure. But now we have confirmation, Joe. Everyone's asking, when's the new DLC coming? They owe us. They said 2. We're getting 1. What is it? And I've been saying Hot Wheels. It's got to be Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels was the Hot Wheels version. The DLC is my favorite DLC of all Forza DLCs. And now that actually might get changed, because we're hearing that there might be some sort of a track editor added to this. That's one of the rumors. We don't know for sure, but that's what's kind of floating around the interwebs. Joe, the return to Hot Wheels, Now, there's going to be a subset of people, Joe, that'll be like, Hot Wheels. They could have did something else. This was the cheapy way because they already have the assets. And there's going to be people like myself that tell them to go eat it. And, you know, if you don't want to play it, don't play it. But, Joe, how big of a deal is this to return to Hot Wheels? This was obviously one of the most popular DLCs that they ever put out.
So first and foremost, I got a little distracted. Goddamn Ains, he knows how to get me. Last of Us has officially been revealed. So
has it really?
The remake, yeah. It looks like it's using 2's engine, and
is that coming out this year?
Coming out this year, 9/2. It's gonna be also on PC. I'm down. Anyway, Hot Wheels. Let's get to it. When I was a kid, boom, I was poor as hell, but we never had any of these tracks because my father would come home, he'd step on them. And, you know, my dad, he worked like 12-hour days, right? Providing for our family. It's 6 days a week. The last thing he wants is shit on the ground. Sorry for the curse, but like that's what he would say. The last thing I want is shit on the ground. And he's just like, no, he toss him out. He once broke a squirt gun right in front of me because we were playing it in the house. He's like, you're gonna learn to come here. And he took a hammer, bam, broke it right in front of me. He's like, never again do we buy this shit. I'm like, oh my God, no. But you know, so for me, we never got the tracks, but what we did have, which I think was the coolest thing, like we were big Hot Wheels kids.
Yeah,
you know, like Transformers, Legos as well. Like I was huge into Legos. And so for me, what we would get is like we have like these suitcases of like Hot Wheels, and you would feel like such a cool kid, like you worked for the MIB or something like that. Like you know, you're like you go to the playground, you like undo the little briefcase, you're like, all right, and what little toy shall I play with today? I think the fire truck. You know, so like Hot Wheels is, I think, just synonymous with childhood, good feelings.
Yeah.
And I think that's what like this DLC does as well, which is just like, let's take these cars that you really love. Let's get goofy. Let's get a little nostalgic as well with something that you previously loved or maybe still do love. And so, you know, to me, I think what these maps really do help provide is a little silliness to Forza, even though like Horizon is like not the, you know, mechanical or whatever simulation racer that Motorsport is. It still lends it to be kooky, creative, and like do loop-de-loops, like things that you would never be able to do.
Yeah.
Do that. And so it's kind of like you are playing Hot Wheels, the video game, which, you know, listen, everybody liked that Hot Wheels game. I wasn't, not so much.
You know what's funny?
For me,
Backlog. I picked it up for $10 during the Black Friday sale, and it's still in the wrapper, which is a shame because I'm a Hot Wheels kid, so I should be ashamed of myself admitting that publicly.
Yeah, real talk. That is a Game Pass game, man. That's something that I'm surprised isn't there yet, but yeah.
Awesome. Well, it's still early. They did say, Joe, that they have a lot of big releases. Coming.
My question here, though, for you, Boom, because there's a lot of motorsport talk. I mean, for months there's been motorsport talk. Do you think that this is like one of the day and dates it's out like at the showcase?
I do. It's funny you said it because I was literally just about to say that. I think that this is literally one of the things that I'm sure that because Eric the Red 06, good friend of the program, has been following me and supporting the channel for years. He says maybe it's just me, but I don't like leaks being reported on when we're so close to the Xbox Bethesda showcase. It's ruining the surprises for him. And you know something? He's onto something with that. There are a lot of people that don't like the leaks. This one is a computer leak. This wasn't Johnny Two-Tone in the back room saying, hey, listen, let's get this out there. You know, get clicks. This happened to be, it just popped onto Steam. You know, some internet sleuths that we have in this community saw it, spotted it, put it into my DMs, and here we are. We're talking about it. We knew it was coming. We did not know what it is. I think that this is definitely, again, my opinion, that this is going to release on Sunday, June 12th. In my opinion, now that the cat's out the bag, maybe it releases now. I don't know. Maybe this is one of the surprises that they were hoping to hold back. Joe, maybe even hold it until the Tuesday show, which is supposed to be the secondary show that has all of the extra stuff that they're leaving out so that
Mm.
some other stuff can get the shine. I don't know. But all I can tell you is that I'm super excited. I've been talking about it, I've been banging the drum. I've been saying it for months. I want them to return to Hot Wheels. And sure enough, I got my wish. And here we are. I mean, look, like I said, if you are someone that grew up with these plastic strips that you used to build these wonderful wondrous worlds in your living room, in your garage, in the front porch, wherever, it's a big deal. It's certainly a big deal to me, and I honestly can't wait. I want to see what cars, what old school classic cars they're going to bring back. The first DLC had some really good ones. Is there a specific car that you remember playing with that was like one of your absolute favorites?
Just give me the DeLorean. That's all I ask. I'm not a picky guy. Just give me a DeLorean, like Back to the Future 2. Let's not throw 3 in there. All right. Let's not, though it's still amazing. It's still an amazing movie, but those wheels, no. Give me the DeLorean. That's all I want. Every time, like any car thing, boom, my answer is DeLorean. That's simple. I'm an easy man to please, man.
You know what? There is nothing wrong with that, folks. Again, I want to welcome 328 people here, Joe. I mean, we just started and we have this many people. That means that your guys and gals are excited. I'm excited. Joe's excited. The world's excited. Sunday is going to be an incredible. And everyone's covering it. The Iron Lords are covering it. I'm covering it. Boxing Burgers. Everybody's going to be doing
Co-op
something.
is covering it. Me, Ames, Luke. Unfortunately, we'll be there. And we'll be covering it live.
It's going to be a great time for gamers. Can't wait. Listen, Joe. Before we move on to the second topic,
wait, can I say something too?
Please.
This really does feel like I truly feel the first time. Like the last showcase, there was excitement, and again, I'm a PlayStation guy, but I want to say this from the bottom of my heart. It feels like for the first time in a very long time, there is some legitimate, real excitement.
Yes.
Like real momentum. Like, oh my God, what's going to happen at the Xbox event? Like I'd never have had that energy felt at a previous like E3.
You know what's interesting to your point?
Yeah.
Here's something that's very interesting. I was talking about this with both Kay Asante this morning and Everborn Saga, because we talk every day.
Yeah.
And we were honestly amazed that at this close to the show, there's been no major leaks. Like nothing. Okay. This is the Hot Wheels thing is a major leak, right? But everything that we're going to talk about, the Matt Booty interview, what Phil Spencer had to say about the first 5 first-party games coming, those are interviews. Those are meant to get out there, right?
Yep.
The app coming confirmed by Samsung. We have Jeff Rubenstein, good friend of this program, who's using it right now, and he basically said that it's like using the console on the new 2022 TVs and beyond. That's something. I mean, obviously they've been working with with Samsung. These TVs are probably built potentially around this app, but we're going to get all into that. But Joe, how do you feel about that? Like the fact that there's been no major spoilers, if you will, that means that Microsoft, again, depending on who you ask, my glass is always half full. So I'll say that's because they have bomb announcements that they don't want to see ruined.
Yeah. To me, I feel like, there was a lot of talk about like leaking stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When is it responsible to leak? When is it not? And I think that's a valuable discussion to have as this industry evolves and grows older. Like what is actually appropriate? What is actually ethical? And the thing is, a lot of sites, like we give a lot of crap to like, IGN or like GameSpot or whatever. They have a lot of journalistic integrity. VGC, a lot of integrity in their posts, because they know if they leak something that is going to hurt their business at the end of the day. And so they don't go out there. They'll let other people report it, and that's when we get to the shadow realm that is YouTube, because YouTubers aren't held
Shadow
to
realm. I like that. That's
it really is.
great.
YouTubers aren't held to any journalistic integrity. Like a YouTuber could straight
You
up
must
lie,
hold that on your
and
own. Like
exactly.
you must, as a content creator,
And
Joe.
they're given so many, like as YouTubers,
Yeah.
like we are given a long leash for as many mess ups as we do. And so for me, it is an incredible thing to note the restraint on people that do know stuff but don't want to ruin it, and some non-restraint from those of whom who haven't or don't do that.
I had
And there's a good
something
argument
that,
for both sides as well.
yeah,
But like for me, I'm excited that we know so little.
I agree.
You know?
No, I have something. I had something in the wheelhouse that I didn't talk about, and I'm not going to talk about it. And that's because number one, I don't want to ruin anything. Number two, I love Microsoft, and I'm glad that they love me. So that's the other thing. And three, the reality is that you just because you have the information doesn't mean you should talk about it. That's a fact. Real quick, Bay Area drops the first super chat of the day. Thanks you for the generosity, Bay Area. He drops a $5 super chat and he says, "Good to hear you again, Bad Bit. Yesterday's show was fire. Hot Wheels DLC is going to be lit. Day one purchase for me. Thank you, Xbox Game Pass." And UK Lad, good friend of this program, has become a channel member. UK brother, thank you so much for that. But listen. Let's get into a story that was broken on Windows Central. It was written by a good friend of this program, good friend of this community, Jez Corden. And this was earlier this morning. And the headline on this is Xbox is planning to offer at least 5 new exclusives across the next year. And this is what the article has to say. As Xbox gears up for its big Xbox Bethesda showcase on Sunday, the firm spoke to the press earlier this week to set the stage. During a briefing, they confirmed that xCloud Gaming will get its first TV app, which we'll be talking about in a bit, for Samsung's 2022 TV range, alongside the ability to eventually stream games you've purchased that aren't a part of Xbox Game Pass library. That's huge. Additionally, exclusive Xbox demos will also hit Xbox Game Pass as the cloud platform expands to new countries with even more servers to meet a global demand. Now, what's interesting to this story is that they are talking about within the next 12 months, which, if you don't know, the new fiscal year will start on July 1st, which is at the end of this month. That fiscal year runs through July 1st, 2022 through June 30th of 2023. Now, the 12 months that you're hearing isn't your traditional 12 months. That's not how they do business. Business is done through, of course, this 12 months, which starts July 1st, ends June 30th. Joe, I'm listen. We all have a strong suspicion, strong opinions, potentially feelings that next year for Xbox is potentially one of the best years. It's shaping up to be one of the best years in platform history. Now that's a statement, because last year they had a lot of big titles that included Forza Horizon 5, which gets its new DLC, Halo, which is an amazing game. It just needs some new maps and some content, which it will eventually get. Obviously Psychonauts from Tim of Legend and that team over at Double Fine, a masterpiece or masterclass in development. You had Flight Simulator. You had the RTS game come out for PC. There was a lot to get excited about. Yeah. But in the next 12
shit, we're gonna get Age of Empires on console.
And Age of Empires will be coming this year to console as well, which has everyone. But look, let's talk about this.
Okay.
Everyone has been waiting for Microsoft to have a 2018, 2019, or 2020 that we've seen Sony deliver. Those 3 years for Sony PlayStation first party were nothing short of astounding.
Yeah.
year after year after year. I mean, 3 years back to back to back. It's like the Bulls. It's like watching the Bulls back in the days. It's just championship after championship after championship. Microsoft finds themselves in a position, even though some of it has to do with delays, and that's fine. They could, and it says 5+.
Yeah.
It says 5+. So we could have 5. We could have 6. We'd have 7 AAA first party games releasing in a 12-month period. That's something Xbox fans have been asking for, have been demanding, and it appears Xbox is going to deliver that, Joe.
Yeah. So for me, I think when I first heard this news, I thought of 2020. In terms of how, to me, that was the best year for PlayStation. Like, you had Persona, you had Final Fantasy VII Remake, you had The Last of Us, you had Ghost of Tsushima. Like, these games were just, like, I hate to use the word, but no, I'll use my alternative. They were slinger after slinger. These were fantastic games. And to me, I'm like, oh, for me, this is going to be the Xbox players equivalent to 2020. And I think that's going to be really awesome for you guys. Like, without a doubt, we're talking Starfield, we're talking, Redfall, and then things become a mystery, which, we've seen Hellblade enough that I think that could be it. We've seen, maybe we get like a Gears of War. That could be it as well. There's just so much opportunities. Whatever the hell Compulsion is working on, we've seen so little from that team. Like, there's just so much that they can conjure up that it's really exciting to think, as an Xbox fan, you guys are going to be really eating next year. And you're going to finally start seeing or not finally, but you're going to start really seeing the cadence that you guys have been wanting for a really long time. Again, we could even see Deathloop, we could see Ghostwire, whatever it is, those two great games, like, on that service, Doom. There's just so much. So to me, that's really awesome news. And I think it's a reassurance of, like, we got it, guys. We've been empty this year. Next year is gonna be it. Without saying just wait till next year. This is them saying, no, we have things lined up, So I'm good on you guys. I'm excited. This is great news.
Yeah, it's exciting news because, again, when all 3 platforms are competing and jockeying for first place, the gamers always are at the winning circle, because we have, one's trying to outdo the other. Listen, whether you talk to Phil Spencer, whether you talk to Bowser, whether you talk to Jim Ryan, they are in competition with one another. That's a fact. But the truth of the matter is that if you sat the 3 of them down in a room and you simply just asked a broad question, they would all say that the success of Sony and Nintendo for Xbox is important for the success of Nintendo and PlayStation is important to the success of Xbox. Jim would say that as well, and Bowser would say that as well, because they are the 3 mains. If one of them fails, that's bad for gaming. That's why they're, even though there are competing platforms, they want each other's business to grow, because it grows their business. And we're seeing that. There's a reason why Xbox will eventually have 34 studios after ABK. It's because they got their teeth kicked in by exactly what we just talked about, Joe. 2018, 2019, 2020, back to back to back incredible years by Sony. Nintendo, well, they've been doing it for years. Even an old game, perfect example, a remake, a remaster sold more on the Switch, and of course I'm talking about a Mario Kart, than it did on its original launching platform.
Yeah.
So,
it's huge.
Yeah, it is absolutely used. But I want to just let me see if I can find the missing statement that they posted here. In a statement to the press, Microsoft described its intent to meet or exceed the number of games launched in its fiscal 2022 year, which included, and here we go, Age of Empires 4, Flight Simulator, Psychonauts, Halo Infinite, and Forza 5. This is what they also said. Last fiscal, we launched 5 new games across console and PC and cloud. We are on track to meet or exceed that amount in the next fiscal year, which again, that's where the 5+ comes into. So if you just look on paper, again, you don't got to be a mathematician here, Joe. You just have to look on paper. Redfall, Starfield, bang, right? Now we also Forza Motorsport, which is again rumored to be releasing this year. That's one of them. That's 3. And that's only in the first, I don't know, 6 months of the fiscal year for them.
Yeah.
It is they have we have a shot, and we don't know, maybe Hellblade. It comes out next year. Maybe Avowed releases next year.
Perhaps, maybe Fable.
Perhaps. Maybe.
Give me Fable.
Give us Fable.
Fable's so good. Fable's so good. And it's going to be fine, everyone. Again, last night I talked about it, and I was going to give some people the backhand. It's going to be fine. Playground is a capable developer.
They certainly are. Listen, they're doing something they haven't done before. Just give them time. They're going to work it out. They've hired a lot of people, former PlayStation people, former Konami people, former Crystal Dynamics people that understand open world games. They're going to figure it out. And when we see it, we're just going to sit
just
there
like
with
Guerrilla
our jaws
did with
dropped.
Horizon, just like Insomniac did with Spider-Man. Everything's going to be fine. These are super talented people that can think outside the box. It's going to be great.
Yep.
I mean, you're right. I mean, theoretically, that GoldenEye game could be considered one of those games. Like, they could be smaller in scope, they could be medium in scope, or they could be as large as Starfield. And the only way we'll really find out is on Sunday, which is again really
3 days
exciting.
away.
Really exciting.
At 1 p.m. we're 3 days away, Joe. 3 days away. It's just madness. It's pure madness. I can't wait to get into it. So listen, I want to move on to another topic. And this one is one that started off 2022 in the best possible way for anyone that has been wondering what Microsoft is going to quote unquote do next. Well, we have another story that was posted by IGN earlier this morning, and it was written by Joe Skerbels. And it says the headline title at IGN.com is Microsoft's Activision Blizzard acquisition, and it says executives discuss exclusives and Xbox Game Pass. Now, I'm going to read verbatim, folks, and then me and Joe are going to break it down. And again, this is from IGN.com. I don't always like what they do, but I have to give credit where credit is due. They broke the story first, and that's what I'm using on today's program. Speaking during a briefing for the media, head of Xbox Game Studios, Matt Booty, addressed the issue of exclusives and tried to put fans' minds at ease about existing multi-platform games that they might love outside of the Xbox platform. And this is what Booty had to say. He said, if we acquire a game that comes with a big community across a number of platforms, the last thing that we want to do is take something away. If anything, we feel it's our job to be caretakers, to be shepherds, to continue to build and nurture that community, not to cut it up into pieces and to try to take anything away. He also continues by saying that, and this is where it gets very interesting. According to the article, this appears to be Microsoft's philosophy for existing games, and perhaps series given we've heard that Xbox will release multiple new Call of Duty games under multi-platform titles, although it's unclear if they will continue indefinitely. Now, here is something that's super interesting, Joe, and I want to read General Manager of Programming and Events, Tina Summerford. She was there. She was interviewed as well. She pointed to the Xbox's previous acquisition of Minecraft and how the game has expanded across new platforms since its purchase as proof of their philosophy. But she did make it clear that some games will, in fact, be exclusive. This, according to the article, would presumably be brand new titles from Activision Blizzard developers rather than existing ones. The philosophy of how Xbox will look after the Activision Blizzard deal on Xbox Game Pass appears to be much more straightforward, Joe.
Yeah.
Corporate Vice President Sarah Bond put it simply: we want to put as many titles as possible from Activision Blizzard into Game Pass when they join us. Joe, this is I love this article because they did give us 3 different point of views. We heard from Matt Booty, we heard from Miss Summerford, and of course, I just read you a quote from Sarah Bond, who, by the way, is following me. I had to throw it out there. Thank you very much for that.
Is she following Luke War? Oh, wait, no, she's not. Okay,
no,
continue.
she's not. Sorry, Luke. Love you, brother, but she's following me, which is awesome. But listen, let's try and break this down. And Joe, we're breaking records. We're almost at 500 people on XVlog Live, which is a new program I just started. I think this is episode 14 or 15. I hadn't been doing it for very long, a couple of months. And, you know, there's a feverish pitch for Xbox right now, and for good reason. Joe, let's talk about this. The Activision Blizzard deal is not only the biggest deal in gaming, it is the biggest deal in Microsoft history. $70 billion big. And look, Call of Duty, I said this before, I got booed on my own show with this. People were like, boo, boomstick, boo. Because I said, what does it matter if Call of Duty stays multiplayer?
Yeah,
who cares?
Who cares?
You know why? Because you I'm telling you, folks, I am telling you, hang around the water cooler at work and just listen. Someone who's considered a normie or a non-gamer, diehard gamer, is going to come up to their friend Joe, and they're going to say, Joe, you're not going to believe this. I just downloaded the new Call of Duty for free. Mm-hmm. And Boom is going to say, what do you mean free? What are you talking about? What are you, insane? No, this Game Pass thing. And they go and they do that, and it spreads like wildfire. That is what's eventually going to happen here. Joe, hearing that there are going to be exclusives, we don't know what those exclusives are going to be. I thought that was just common sense, to be honest with you. Call of Duty, they're not going to dice up the communities. They're not going to say, they're not pulling rugs from anybody.
Let me have this TED talk, like, because I got a lot of thought. The only people that care where you play Call of Duty are the people willing to saw their consoles in half because that matters to them that much.
You nearly choked me. How dare you?
Right. It's for those losers. And they really are. Those people that really care, that want to take joy out of people. I hate those people. No matter what banner you fly, I really don't like that type of energy.
I don't like it either.
Because that's not what games are about.
Yeah.
And when you take a look at what Matt Booty has said, and I'm also the type of, I don't trust a corporation. I don't trust any company. And that's the energy I bring. I bring in going, hey, we have a business relationship. I like your product, so I'm going to buy your product. But the day I don't like your product, I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to, cap for it. That's always been my shtick. So when I see Microsoft's recent moves, I'm conflicted because they're doing things I would not expect a major corporation to do, right? Like, I would not expect a company the size of Microsoft to go, yeah, you could form a union. Yeah, we'll work with you if you're a union. Like, that's nuts. That's actual true change at a length that we've never seen before. Truly haven't. So when we see then Jeff come out and go, hey, listen, we want to talk to you guys about Activision Blizzard. He's saying it for 2 different reasons. First and foremost, it's always that FTC thing, right? You want to make sure you say the right thing so that they don't take it out of context and that deal doesn't go through, right? So again, and not saying it won't, we all think it will, but you don't want to put your foot in your mouth. And them stating it very clearly here is really saying, here's the expectations of what we want to do with this company for the FTC first, and then the consumer second. Because now who they're talking to is the person that doesn't follow console news like we do, or doesn't subscribe to the console war shenanigans that we don't, right? And so to the person that's just playing Diablo, who just finds out, and I'm not kidding you guys, who just finds out like the Activision Blizzard deal is happening, the day it actually happens. Well, those people exist. They're the majority of folks. When you take a look at the biggest Xbox creator out there, name them, they are considered a medium to small tier creator. in the whole grand scheme of things. So you have to take that into perspective of the average folk doesn't really know what's going on, and you want to kind of quell those fears. So for the person that just plays Diablo, doesn't subscribe to any of it, you want to make that person happy. You want to make sure that their investment, their time investment, is worth it, and is field earned. And if that person feels like they've just been cheated, that they're not going to get any more updates for that game, they're going to go somewhere else. That's how games die. So what Microsoft is saying is, hey, for the games that have these big multiplayer, communities, we don't want to split them up. Why? It's bad business. We leave money on the table. We hurt our reputation. It's not worth pulling the rug from under people. And that's not clearly the business Xbox is running, because how many times have I said it, Boom? Microsoft, they care, but they don't care whether you play on an Xbox or PC. Look at the news today. You can play on a Samsung Smart TV. They don't care if you have a console. They just want you to be subscribed to Game Pass. That is the mission. So when you say, oh, Call of Duty, well, what's the big deal if it's not exclusive to Xbox? The big deal is if you're an Xbox player, you're getting that game for $9 to $15 a month. So figure that conversation you just had with your buddy in the water cooler. Oh, man, yeah, I'd love to get Call of Duty, but, budget. And the guy goes, you don't have Game Pass? And the guy goes, what's Game Pass? And then bam, you get a Game Pass subscriber right then and there. That's the business that they're running. They don't care how many consoles you carve in half. They care about how many apps that you have. And are they the central app that you're using? That's the most important thing. And so the biggest hurdle for Microsoft isn't PlayStation or getting their games off of PlayStation. It's actually, how do we get games onto Google Play? How do we get our games onto the App Store, the iOS App Store? Those are the things that Microsoft's actually thinking of, because that's where the bread and butter is. Microsoft's plan is to create an ecosystem that goes beyond consoles, that goes beyond mobile, and goes beyond PC, to kind of merge it into this one thing, this metaverse, right? And so that's what Microsoft's deal is. So when I take a look at like Call of Duty is now, safe to say, going to be on PlayStation for a while, right? Safe to say Overwatch is going to be on PlayStation for a while. That's great news for those games, because the last thing, and it's so important, it's actually what I said on Beyond last night, is when PlayStation does this, look, Last of Us remake was just announced, right? Right after its announcement, they go 9/9/22, also in development for PC. PlayStation knows their games, when it comes to their multiplayer games that they want to push out, are going to have to be beyond PlayStation and go into other ecosystems if they want to survive. Those games, like games like Halo Infinite, they get to be on Xbox and PC, and that's great. But the one thing is, it's about eliminating the barrier to entry. The reason why Halo Infinite is popular as it is, it's free. You could get it for free on PC. You could get it for free on console. The multiplayer, that is. And they're making their money off that battle pass and the cosmetics that Ains spends outrageous money on.
I spent about $100. I'm not gonna lie.
Ains spent that in like a weekend, I feel. So
well, that's well, I mean, he's a Halo professional.
I know he's just
he's an assassin, and he smiles in your face as he's stabbing you in the face.
But like that's the point. Is like, to me, it's about eliminating the barrier to entry for people to enter multiplayer. So I'm saying this, like, and it sounds crazy now. Rewind in 3 to 5 years when it's future. And I've been saying this since day one. You're going to see an Xbox app on PlayStation. You're going to see a PlayStation app on an Xbox. It is 100%. A matter of time. It's all about the app. Right now, Xbox is ahead of them by a few years, but they're all seeing it. They're all racing for it. And to me, it's about eliminating the barrier to entry for developers and for the consumers.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about this deal? And it's funny. I look back to my original heels in the sand kind of a theory. When I heard about this deal, I was like, so what, Call of Duty? What's the big deal? What I didn't realize at the time is that was a dumb thing to say, because Call of Duty, regardless of whether or not last year's was absolutely horrendous, it was the highest selling game regardless. Now, Joe, one of the key aspect. Listen, folks, I don't have a marketing degree. You obviously know I'm a retired police officer, right? I chase guys with guns for a living and quite enjoyed it because I was saving people, and that's what I swore in to do. I miss it. Honestly, I mean, I love content creation and everything, but the truth of the matter is I miss helping people. I really, really do. I wanted to be a police officer since I was playing my G.I. Joes. That's a fact. That's not even I'm not being facetious. But rewinding this all back, one of the things I find unbelievably perplexing is how big a single logo can be for said whatever. And I'm painting a picture, folks. So just bear with me. Now we're going to be talking about this app that was confirmed to be on exclusive, by the way, to Samsung TVs 2022 and beyond. Right now, what that tells me is they've been working with them. Again, Jeff Rubenstein, we're going to get his quote. He says like playing on console. Now you'll say, well, boom, just a second. He toes the line for Xbox. But he's putting himself out there. So I don't think he would do that just because. Jeff doesn't do that. He's not going to throw himself on the sword if it sucks. He's just not going to say anything. And that's probably better because people keep receipts in this community, right? Oh, look what you said 10 years ago, canceled, right? that happens. But my theory is a pretty stout one. And I'm not putting myself on a pedestal here. I want to go as simplistic as possible, Mr. Badbit. Obviously, we said this before. Who gives a flying hoot nanny that Call of Duty stays on PlayStation and wherever else it could run, PC, wherever. But here is what Microsoft's genius, six-figured people that make these decisions are thinking. They have a streaming device coming, right? That is rumored to be, whether it's a little square cube like the GameCube, whether it's a stick, whether it's an Alexa type device, whatever it's going to be plugged underneath your TV, plugged into the wall, and you're going to have a streaming device if you don't own a Samsung TV that's 2022 or beyond, right? Great. That's awesome. But what's interesting is if this device that we all know is coming is under $100, and on that little packaging box, right, you put a Call of Duty logo, whatever the current Call of Duty is, and a little Xbox Game Pass. Anything under $100 in this country, I can't speak for any other countries. I don't live there. I live in the United States. Is considered an impulse buy. Anything under $100, that's a fact.
Yeah.
If you turn around and you make this nice fancy little box that's probably around 16 by 16, it's probably only about 8 inches thick, and it comes with a controller and this stick, puck device, whatever it's going to be, and you put this on a shelf, whether it's Black Friday, whether it's the 4th of July sale, whether it's in September when the flowers are blooming or dying because it's about to hit fall, it is going to fly off shelves. And I know that there's going to be a subset of people say, well, just a second, that's not a console. It can't count. I don't even think Microsoft would count it as a console. What that tells me is that's a customer. That is a Game Pass customer that now has who may not buy games. But you put Call of Duty on there, Joe, and it's over. It is going to be, you're going to see a size. I'm not saying PlayStation's going out of business, but we understand. And Joe, you and I have talked about this. The large community that is PlayStation are considered normies. That's a fact. 80% of PlayStation owners buy 3 games a year, maybe less than that. So, and what are gamers, Joe? More than anything, cheap MFs. That's what they are. That's what we are.
Yeah.
Why are you going to spend $70 on a game when you can go and pay $15 a month and get 2, 3, 4, 500 games in there at your disposal? Like I said, if you're new to Xbox, Joe, it's almost instant backlog.
And that's the thing. Again, it goes back to my original point. Microsoft doesn't give a F where you're going to like they just want you to download this app. The reason like that, like you're right. Like, do I consider this little thumb drive, whatever I'm putting in the back of this TV, like would I consider that a console cell? And the thing is, like, to me, it's like my answer to that is, does it even matter anymore? Because I don't think it does.
I don't think
Like
it
the
does
metric
either.
to success now is just like to me, it's always been, but like it's so clear today. Is like, are you enjoying what you're getting? Okay, then that's the only metric that matters. But like, Microsoft is really going after, and they like, guys, like I'm saying this, and I'm saying it with my chest here. They're throwing billions of dollars. They're dropping you amount of money.
I love the beat, by the way.
I love it, dude. This is the best old piece of tech. But like, they're dropping so much cash on Game Pass. It's not even on just games, it's on the tech behind it. And to me, that's the ginormous thing. When people are like, does Game Pass make money or not? It's like, does it really matter? Like, to me, it doesn't. Like, I don't know. I'm not a stakeholder, but to me, it doesn't matter until it actually does. Until I stop having fun with this thing. Even then, it's like it doesn't matter because then I'm just out. But to me, it's just when I hear these reports, it really is them talking to not the Xbox or the PlayStation community. It's these communities within Activision that are like, look, they're talking to developers going, we don't care if you unionize. That's a confidence of your business going, that's how good we are.
Yeah.
They're talking to consumers.
They're in the top 10 of best places to work in this country. And that's,
it's awesome.
Glassdoor, that's a big deal, dude.
So to me, like, you take a look at like what Xbox is doing then when they're talking to fans of Activision Blizzard going, listen, Call of Duty's staying, Diablo's probably staying, Overwatch is staying. These games need their communities. They need them to be as big as possible. So like making them exclusive doesn't really make a lot of sense anymore. So they're just like, don't worry, we're open to new ideas and different approaches that we haven't seen before. Boom, you're right. Microsoft has no interest in killing PlayStation.
Of
and if you're one of these
That's
people that think PlayStation's dying in 10 years, you're a fool. Same the other way around. PlayStation does not want to kill Microsoft because the day that happens is the day they break that business apart. Right? Look at, like, I always bring history repeats itself as a student of. You take a look at the 90s, how dominant Microsoft was and how much they were under fire from governments, world governments, of being on the verge of being broken up and just literally turned into separate entities because it was getting too big. And what did Microsoft do? They infused Apple with a shit ton of cash.
Yep.
They helped their competitor become competitive so that they didn't have to be broken up in pieces. So again, there is no zero-sum gain.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah, enemy of my enemy is my friend. But more importantly, competition matters to them. And they all want to be quote unquote number one, but they don't want to be number one. Like, they just want to be the most profitable that they can be.
Right.
That's their goal, is to beat last year's expectations, last year's numbers. That's what's important to them. This whole like, oh, well, on Xbox I get, that's dying. And that's going to be dead sooner than you think. And it's going to be very, very weird come in a few not so distant future that you see Game Pass on consoles you never thought they would. Like last night I joked, I'm like, you're gonna see a Game Pass on a Nintendo console. You will see Xbox Game Pass on a Nintendo console.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think that's not out of the realm of a possibility anymore. Anything you thought couldn't happen can happen. Anything you thought wouldn't happen will happen. That's what I've learned over the past few years, and it's really due to Microsoft's aggressive nature.
Yeah.
And hopefully they keep that aggressive streak, because this is pushing PlayStation, pushing Nintendo, pushing competitors that we haven't seen the likes of before, that are about to enter this industry in various different ways. So this is great news. People get to play their games where they want. That's great. And having the expectation of, and it sets the line of demarcation so perfectly going, but any new game, that's ours.
Right.
And I feel
Right.
like that is then like that is a fair trade-off. It's them kind of like bartering with fan bases going, listen, Blizzard fans, we get you, we love you.
Right.
But after this point, these games start becoming exclusive.
Right.
Fair deal.
And and again, Joe, that's a wonderful point. And I want to just add some sprinkles to this very tasty cake that you're making here. At that point, being able to play your Xbox anywhere will have become common fare.
Yeah.
It's common knowledge. So for someone to potentially pick up an under $100 streaming device, if you will, to be a part of Xbox to continue playing Diablo 5, let's just say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or Overwatch 3, or whatever they're going to make exclusive at a certain point, Microsoft won't be saying, hey man, you want to play over here, it's $500 plus $75 or $80 for the game, suck it. No, they're going to say, hey, listen, go buy Streaming the Box, $50 comes with a controller. Oh, Game Pass, $15 a month, maybe it's $20 a month, but you have 1,000 games and you're getting Diablo 5 in their day and date. And you're like, well, wait a second. I can own multiple consoles and I won't be had my head off with the head. This is great.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the reality.
Again, it's not about selling the device, more so as it's about being on a device.
Being on a device and allowing the player to choose where him or her wants to play. And that is the most powerful. The choice is the most powerful thing.
Dude,
we take it for granted.
Real talk. Once that stick comes out, this is going to be so many people's secondary console.
100%.
Like,
yeah,
I'm putting that in my downstairs TV.
Yep.
I've wanted to, but it's like, oh, but do I want to spend $200 or $500 on another unit? No. And this is just a great alternative. Going like, yeah, it's like 1080p. Maybe it's not 60 FPS, but like it does the job. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'm
you know what, Joe? It's funny.
Whatever. It's like there you go.
You and I, we both love and respect Phil Spencer for who he is, for what he does for the community, for how he represents the brand, how he represents gamers. Remember a couple of years ago, the interwebs clowned on him when he said, we really want to try to get to 3 billion gamers.
Yeah.
People were like, well, look at that fool. And now in, June 9th, 2022, 12:57 p.m., we're looking at this come to fruition right in front of our faces.
Yeah.
TVs, streaming devices, $500 boxes. Guess what? It's all the same. Now, granted, Ps are going to be different, right? The almighty Ps, 1080p versus whatever P. But you still will be able to play your game wherever you are.
That's
incredible.
Yeah, and that's the mission that Microsoft is here to throw as much money into, because again, like, look, I'm not gonna kid y'all, folks. This stuff takes money to do, and they've spent billions upon billions of dollars to do this, and they are selling Game Pass at a remarkably low price right now because they want to grow this thing. They're seeing that they need to build this from the ground up, and it's going to cost incredible amount of money to do that, but they also know that they have an incredible amount of money to spend and that they have the infrastructure to make this happen. I think Microsoft sees this as, they always go, it's not a one-to-one to Netflix, but if you want to use that, they want to be the marker in the ground. This is the gaming Netflix. The gaming Netflix doesn't exist yet. They want to be it. That's like they want, so that like right now it'll be on Samsung, and once they iron out the kinks, it'll be on LG, it'll be on whatever Vio TV. It'll have a Fire Stick that's $20. Like, the barrier to entry is going to be so minimal that this becomes possible. It's going to be on your phones. It's a matter of time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. You're seeing that right now with the web-based stuff that they're doing. It's almost solely for low end.
When you buy your next Samsung phone, the apps is just going to be in there.
Yeah, but like even then, like when you have your iPhone, you just www.gamepass.com, and you're there, and that's what Microsoft's mission is going to be about. And this is still, and I say this with all the love and admiration for what they're doing. This is still a remarkable risk that they're taking, and it's awesome to see year in, year out that they double down on it. So like when people go, is it really profitable? I think they see the promise of that profitability more so than anything. And I think this is a huge step in the right direction. And honestly, I'm very happy to see Microsoft being the ones to do this, because if this was a company like Apple, if this was a company like Google, Amazon, which are the devil, I listen, I want to just send Bezos to the moon and leave him there. You know what I mean? So like, it's
Are you
awesome
saying
that
deliver him to the moon, like the game, and just literally,
deliver him and leave him. Peace,
right.
Jeff, and your crazy eyes. But like, yeah, that's, to me, that is awesome to see how passionate they are about making this vision a reality.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, real quick before we move on to one of the bigger topics, we're going to talk about the app that we've been talking about. I got to catch up with some of the super chats, but we also have a couple of comments there, Joe. Percolator 9000, good friend of the program, has been a channel member for 3 months. He says, "Good afternoon. After 2 gens from now, Xbox will play on Mars. Have a great show." Indeed,
Yeah.
I don't doubt that. Iman Burns, who has been a channel member for 5 months. And Iman, we're going to get to your super chats. You dropped a couple of them. He says, "Nice show, boys. Just went to the dark side. I just bought my first ever PlayStation 5. I feel so dirty." No. Don't feel dirty, brother. Congratulations on that. Listen, can I give you some advice?
What's that?
No, I'm talking to Iman.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Please go and play Astrobot. It's a freaking masterpiece. I got a platinum on that. It's so, look, I've been buying PlayStations since I was importing them from Japan.
Holy.
Now, granted, it's not my first choice of console, but if you think I'm not buying The Last of Us 1 remake, you're out of your freaking gourd.
We're all fools.
That's a day one purchase, full boat and everything, because I like The Last of Us 1. I don't want to talk about 2, but we'll talk about 1. Play Astrobot. It is chef's kiss. It is just, it really does use the controller to such a unique way. I can't wait for the second one. I know they're working on a platform. I don't know if it's going to be a quote unquote platformer like a Ratchet and Clank. I hope so. But if it's just another one of these, that's good enough for me. Iman had actually dropped a couple of super chats. He actually didn't say anything. He dropped the first one of £2, didn't say anything, and dropped another £1. Well, thank you, Iman. Definitely appreciate that. We have 2 more super chats that came in, Joe. One from Keo Walker, good friend of the program, personal friend of mine. He DMs me all the time with incredible stories. He says this after dropping $5. "Those Samsung TVs will also have Google Stadia and GeForce Now apps. So with Game Pass, you can play nearly every game out there." That's wow. That's a strong point. Good, generous friend of the program, Joe. John TJ drops a $5 super chat and says, "Morning, guys. Xbox has the gaming dream we have always dreamed about." Yeah, they do. Yeah, they are working on that dream of dreams, and I'm here for the ride. I'm definitely here for the ride. Oh, and you know what? Real quick, this is a small one, folks. If you didn't know, Xbox Design Lab relaunched today. Now, why is that important? Well, yesterday there was a lot of knuckleheads on the interwebs that had some negative things to say about the gay pride controller that they have, which I have already ordered from Mrs. Boomstick. We are supporters of the cause.
That's right.
She got that controller. She loved it from the minute she saw it. I actually designed my own Killer Instinct controller, black and metallic red. It looks gorgeous.
Nice.
And of course, I wrote Killer Instinct on it as well. So if you've been wondering, because it had gone on hiatus for a bit because they were adding a bunch of new things. Go check. I mean, I think Design Labs is great. Still no Design Labs for the Elite, but I think there's a reason for it. I think that they want the Elite 3.0 to be eventually released. It's going to fix all the woes that the 2 suffered from, especially is the share button. I don't know about you, Joe. I die without the share button because I'm always recording stuff, and having to press the guide button and then Y or X and back out of it, it's a pain. So hopefully the third rendition of the Elite controller, because I have the Halo Elite controller, which I use to beat down on people, and it's quite great. Those half pull triggers, they're the shit. They really are. Shooting you before you can pull the trigger. I highly advise you should do what I do and use an Elite because it's amazing. But let's get on to Joe. The next topic.
Okay.
Hold on just a second. Let me pull this up. Now, it was reported this morning from Harrison Hoffman, where I don't know who Harrison Hoffman is, but I'm going to find out right now. He is the principal product manager for connected TV and apps at Xbox. Well, Harrison, very nice to meet you. He tweeted out this from his official Twitter account. Playing Xbox games will soon be as easy as grabbing your favorite controller and launching your Xbox app on your smart TV. No console required. Now, Rubes, or Jeff Rubenstein, obviously friend of this program. Jeff's a really good dude. He tweeted from his official Twitter account, I've been testing out the Xbox app on a Samsung Smart TV, and it truly feels like you're playing on console without a console. More details here, and the details we have in front of us come to us from news.xbox.com. And obviously, it says this, according to the press release, our mission at Xbox is to bring the joy and community of gaming to everyone on the planet. We are committed to achieving this vision of delivering great games and services and enabling more people to play than ever before. That's why we created Xbox Game Pass and continue expanding cloud gaming to new devices so that we can open up new ways for people to play across devices they already own: PC, console, mobile, tablet devices, and now smart TVs. It continues. Last June, we shared our vision for bringing Xbox to more gamers by working with global TV manufacturers to embed the Xbox experience into smart TVs. Today, the Xbox team provided an update with our approach and vision, which included how we're making the last year's version a reality by bringing the Xbox app to smart TVs, starting with our partner, Samsung, the global leader in TVs. And finally, they say this: together, Samsung and Xbox partnered to bring Xbox Game Pass to the millions of Samsung Galaxy phones around the world. And now we are partnering again to bring our Xbox gaming experience to their 2022 smart TVs. And I'm excited for you to experience cloud gaming on smart TVs on June 30th in 27 countries, Joe.
Whew.
This is something to be had because, again, we got to just walk it back a bit. Who doesn't own a TV? Well, I mean, I'm sure that there are a significant amount of people that don't own a TV, but for the most part, people own TVs. People own tablets. People own phones. And what would have been considered taboo or very strange 5 years ago, Joe, has become commonplace. And Xbox through the cloud and through, of course, the browser can be played. Now, are these games, are they eventually going to be a one-to-one to an actual hardware console? The answer is probably no. If you want the true, 2160p and 4K whimsabams and this, that, and the thirds and the ray tracing, you're going to play on hardware. But if you are out and about and you want to pick up a game, maybe you're waiting in the doctor's office, maybe you're waiting in the car for your wife to come out of work, maybe you're on a plane, maybe you're waiting for a plane, I don't know, wherever you are, if you wanted to pick up, let's say, Diablo 17, and you really are into this game, and you're like, my God, I got to get this armor, you can stop playing at home and pick that bad boy up on your phone, your tablet, your pewter, wherever. Joe, this is a big deal. This is a monstrous deal because Samsung is the leader in TVs. They're the leader in cell phones, and Microsoft.
Unfortunately,
well, you're an Apple guy.
We don't like him in this house. We don't like him at all. Every Samsung product we've had, we have regretted it. We're like, this thing sucks. We hate it so much. But now I'm an LG boy. Like when it comes to TVs, guys, if you're not getting that, get an LG. like save that extra money. If you're like, oh my god, that's expensive,
I want to get a C1, to be honest.
dude, it's so
I might treat myself this
everything.
fall.
Yeah,
I'm gonna upgrade because
everything
my
else looks like
Samsung is a couple of
garbage
years old now.
But that said, look, this is the end game, right? We just talked about this. This is the end game of Xbox's mission. Get this thing on as many things as we can, make the deals that we can to make sure that this is happening. Like Samsung is the partner you get if you can't get Apple, right? They're the ones you get because they are Apple's biggest rival in mobile. And so like you're taking a look at like how Apple's treated you when it comes to Game Pass. You're like, all right, well, I'm just gonna go to your buddy over here, and we'll make a deal with them. We'll help research and get this thing off the ground for each other, and we'll do it that way. And so seeing this is an awesome sign that they picked a good partner. Like my feelings aside from them, they picked the most popular, manufacturer of TVs, one that is renowned. They picked the one that is the most popular when it comes to the phone market. That's what you want. You want to make sure that you're capping the largest share of folks, right? You're not going to Panasonic. You're not going to, I don't know, who else makes a phone even. That's how little I'm like, I just get my iPhone. I love it. But like, you're not going to like Huawei or whatever the hell that thing's called to go put your app on that phone. You're gonna go for what's gonna give you and net you the most popular, most possible outcome, which is Samsung. And I think that's just a genius step in the very right direction for them. So to me, this is the future. Streaming. It's getting apps on as many things as you can, hardware where it's dedicated. So now you have this premium, right? You have Xbox Series X. That was your $500 premium box. Then you have the Series S, your 200, 300, not so premium, but it's dedicated hardware right there for the common folk. Then you have the streaming stick for the core gamers, people that you think you can entice them with.
Yep.
And then you have the bare essential, the app, and all these things just skew upwards to get you into that ecosystem. It's just such a smart idea, and one that is exciting to see. I'm excited to see how streaming has evolved because I've heard it's gotten a lot better than when I used it. So I can't wait when the streaming stick comes out to actually give it a go.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And again, obviously, this is something that we've been covering for the last 20 something minutes. I don't want to bore everybody. This is a big deal. This is a very exciting time for Xbox. They are finding a way to reach gamers that no other platform has been able to do. They are ahead of the curve in such a big way. Nintendo is 150,000 years behind. Sony, they're getting in line. Sony, they have
Sony's getting there.
Yeah,
Sony sees it, and Sony will be there.
Yeah, they absolutely will be there.
It's going to be just a little bit later.
Yeah,
and we'll see how that nets out for them. But like, that's happening. Like, they're making their own PC app. This thing's gonna happen. So, to me, it's just a matter of time. And again, it's good that they're leading the charge and not Google.
Yeah,
so,
Google.
If there's one company I don't trust.
Yeah, well, Google and Amazon. I like buying stuff from Amazon. I don't trust them.
Yeah, I search all the stuff on Google, but I don't trust them.
Yeah, there you go. Real quick, folks, before we let you go, I'm in a gaming news group that has an incredible content creators that like Jasper and Pong and Mav and Lady AF and so many others. Three bits in there, and this was just dropped in, and this is something to go. Now this is a bonus topic, ladies and gentlemen. 500 people almost. We had over 500. We had 515. We talked. That's right. But here's the thing, Joe.
Yeah,
we have an update on Starfield, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. According to a new advertisement, it is posted on Reddit. It has 402 thumbs up. This was 14 hours ago. Just found its way into my DMs. And it says this. It shows 1 month for $14.99 automatically continues at $14.99 a month. They're talking it's a Game Pass advertisement, and it says what you hundreds of high quality games, play new games like Starfield with a little star next to it on day and date of its release. Includes Xbox Live Gold, blah blah blah, EA access, jump in with cloud gaming, perks, discounts. But at the bottom, Joe,
What's
this
that?
is
What's
where
that?
we start to go, maybe first half was just being too facetious. It says here with an asterisk, Starfield expected early 2023. Early
All
says
right.
January, February to me, brother. I don't know about what that says to you, but remember, they said first
February,
half.
March.
Yeah, March. But
Yeah.
that's better than June. That's better
Yeah.
than first half of the year, which would
Yeah.
be June.
That's definitely improvement. I think, first off, I'm always shocked that Dead Space, because I know Dead Space remake is aimed for January. But who knows?
It's EA, so
I mean, delays are happening everywhere, so who knows? But I feel like now it's either, you launch at the end of January where people are getting back in the rhythm of things, or you release it usually towards the end. Here's a little thing for you guys. You usually launch a game at around February or March because you want to get people who just put in their taxes. You want to get tax season. So that's another bump in the games industry. So I could definitely see either February or March they make a cognitive push for Starfield. But it's great. Again, this is my excitement for Starfield, right? This is how I'm talking. This is my excitement for God of War. I'm talking about it with a smile this time. I need to see more of these games to really get amped and hyped for it. And hopefully that will happen on Sunday.
yeah.
And hopefully that will happen to more people as they advertise the crap out of it come February, because Phil Spencer's like, I want to make this the most played game in the history of man. So let's see. It's very ambitious. I have faith. It's strange with Bethesda. I'm in a strange place with them. I'm in a strange place with God Howard, because been hearing things about him that he's, so I don't know. But I'm hoping this is good. I'm hoping that all the things I've heard are wrong about him, and this is going to be something really special. Because to me, this is what Bethesda needs really, really bad. They've been hurt. Their reputation's been hurt a little bit. So the reason why they're purchased by Microsoft.
This is going to be the
thing that brings them back.
de facto
Yeah.
for Todd Howard. Honestly, I honestly believe that this is the thing he's been working on for a decade. It's finally coming to realization, and I'm okay with a delay if the game is going to be terrible at launch.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't. Yeah, I mean, how many games have come out and they're like rough at launch? You're like,
yeah, Chris 713 says something. Welsh Gamer says, "Boom!" Yeah, Welsh Gamer making his return to podcasting this Sunday when he joins the panel. Welsh Gamer, I love you, brother. Can't wait to podcast with you. He started the Xbox Factor podcast with me many, many moons ago and had to step away for family reasons, but he's making his triumphant return. Real quick, a shout out to JD Gamer. He drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, Mr. Badbit, don't hate me when I tell you this, but if you owned Apple products for years, especially their phones, a lot of the hardware in those phones were Samsung parts. I mean,
Samsung screen, Samsung hard drive. They swap them in between that and like LG screens. I think Samsung just got approved. I think, what is it, like a year ago, right? Because what happened was Samsung burned a bridge bad with Apple. Like I think they like straight up just stole something from Apple, and Apple in response was just like, okay, then LG, you're going to be the main person that's going to make our screens.
Yeah.
Instead of Samsung. It was usually Samsung. So I think they use Samsung and LG OLED screens. So I'll say this. I like LG parts, but like when they're all together, sometimes the frame of your goddamn TV just falls off and you find out it's held by double-sided tape.
That got heated up and now it's falling apart. Real quick, Chris 713, good friend of the program, says Starfield 2/3/23. You know how God Howard likes those dates. I kind of like what you're
Oh,
putting down there, Chris.
I like that energy, dude. I like
Yeah,
that energy.
I do like that
I sign
energy.
off
But
on it.
ladies and gentlemen, we had over 515 people for the new episode, the returning episode of X Vlog Live, to hear me and Mr. Badbit bang out 5 topics. Where's his camera? 5. That's a lot. That's a lot of topics for a show that's normally 60 minutes. We gave you almost an hour and a half. Joe, let's get to the outros. What are you doing this weekend, brother? What do you got going on? Where
Oh
could
my God.
people
So
listen
much.
to Badbit and his his wildest expectations for this show on Sunday? What are you doing over at the Bitcast?
Oh, so I like that. I like that transition. So on Sunday, we are going to, on the Season Gaming YouTube channel,
Yep.
be
With
streaming the
Ains
event live. Yeah, he's there. But it come from me.
the star of the show,
Me.
Luke Lore.
Oh, boom. I usually I like your jokes. That one I don't know about. But yeah, no, we're going to be streaming the event live through the Season Gaming YouTube channel. Cast Co-op, me, Luke, Ains, reacting live. Ains said, you're going to see me in a different way because I'm like a 12-year-old kid when I'm watching these things. And I've never seen Ains put on a different emotion other than stoic. So I really want to see him crack a smile. Like, I want to see what that's like, it's like he's always taking a photo from the 1800s. That's what I think of Ains. He's just never, he's not emotive. Anyway, Cast Co-op, Season Gaming. Check us out live on Sunday when the show goes live. Then we're going to be recording our reactions right afterwards with the audience. And I believe all the super chats, anything you donate or give to us, we give back to an awesome cause as well. So it's really awesome. Come be a part of the community while you're helping a great cause. And on top of that, the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast. That is my show where each and every Thursday, me and my best friend Kyle talk about the latest and greatest in all things PlayStation. This week, we did our Summer Games Fest predictions. Then on Thursday, we had the crossover of a lifetime where we were on IGN's
Talk
podcast.
About that, brother. Talk
Beyond.
About that.
Fantastic show. Go check it out.
We had an
absolute blast.
Who were you?
We were hanging out with none other than Jonathan Dornbush, the host of IGN's Beyond. We were just talking shop of what we expect from PlayStation's multiplayer offerings, and my kind of hype for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. You can find that on IGN. And then later tonight,
this is the
Kyle
big one,
and I
folks.
record the Summer Games Fest reactions as well. So you could get our reactions to the show on Friday and where you find your podcast services. So whether that's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, or YouTube, you can find the Trophy Room there. Get up to date. This real talk, I usually don't talk about numbers much because most of the time they don't mean much to me. But this week alone, we have crossed over 10,000 downloads, not just views, downloads. So thank you all so much for going to Apple Podcasts, going to Spotify, going on Google Play, and supporting us there. Because in just a week, that is nutty.
That's insane numbers, brother. That's insane numbers. Yeah.
Insane numbers. So thank you all so much. It's been an awesome few weeks. So thank you, and thank you both for having me.
It's great to work with you, brother. You were on last night. You killed it last night. You had everyone literally peeing in their pants with laughter. That was a lot of fun. Love the chainsaw. Love your take on Miyamoto and what he would do. That was that's classic. That's classic. That's Joe. Classic. That might be the best representation of that man I've ever seen and heard. Good stuff on that, folks. Listen, I am not covering the Keeley event this afternoon simply because the time schedule doesn't work for me. Mrs. Boom gets out of work at 4. I got to be out the door by 3:15, and then I just couldn't cover it. Where we are covering it is tomorrow morning's Breakfast with Boom, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to give you a whole breakdown of the show, and obviously, if any other breaking news happens, we will be talking about that as well. 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the new episode of Breakfast Room back on Fridays where it belongs with the entire crew. And we'll be covering everything that happens at Summer Games Fest today. And we're expecting some big things, Joe. Can't wait to see. Maybe we even get some Last of Us gameplay. That's a possibility also. I mean, it was announced today, so I don't see why the Jeff Keighley wouldn't have that gameplay available. It makes sense.
We'll see. And we'll see about God of War. I'm truly I'm curious. I'm not like, because to me it's like at this point it's like they don't need to release it this year, but like I would
Well,
like to play it
they
this
have The
year.
Last of Us. I think The Last of Us, the Last of Us remake does give them a lot of breathing room, because what they don't want, and I'll say this as we get everyone out of here. I was so excited
Mm,
and so both heartbroken
mm.
when when I started playing Horizon Forbidden West. The game is gorgeous. The way that Aloy is depicted as a character that went from meek to this superhero-esque kind of a persona excited me as a fan of the series. And then after dying a dozen 15 times on a jump, it just drove me. I thought it was my controller. I changed controllers. I thought something was going on, and the bugs were they were such an annoyance for me personally. I haven't gone back to it. Right.
Oh, dude, it is so.
I'm gonna play. I'm definitely gonna get back to it. I love the character. It's one of my favorite new IPs. But my point is that I don't want to see this happen to God of War. I don't think that it has to be rushed out when you have a Last of Us 1 remake that is going to sell millions and millions of copies, because we all want to play that story again. And
either take the 11/11 date or just push it out somewhere. And honestly, like push it to like April again, push it to May. I think a big
they could
problem.
Have it March was the last God of War in 2018.
No, April 20th. It was
April. Okay,
420
so
YOLO.
Right.
It was a date too hilarious not to have remembered in my brain. So like to me, like have it there, because I think what really did kill the momentum of Horizon. I don't think anyone I mean, I expected Elden Ring to be amazing as a huge From Software fan, but like I don't think nobody thought that this game
no
would
one
be
saw that coming. Right.
Red Dead
That was
Redemption
expected
numbers.
to be a niche title for only Souls people.
Yeah, like Sekiro is a huge success. It sold 9 million in its lifetime. Elden Ring surpassed it in 3 weeks. So like
3 weeks. Yeah.
Nobody.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, that's your show. That is the Xbox, the X Vlog Live. This is Double Barrel Gaming. I'm Mr. Boomstick XL. This is Mr. Bad Bit, voice of the Trophy Room. Thank you so much for tuning in, checking out the show. If you're new to the channel, you just found us today, please consider subscribing. If you're already here, hit that like button on the way out. Let's try and get this up past 300 likes. That would be greatly appreciated. And listen, I want to thank all the super chats that came in. There's quite a few of them. We got a new channel member, a couple of old channel members that dropped messages. Thank you for supporting the channel. And of course, I'm going to close out the show, folks, with something that's important to me. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he said, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of X Vlog Live. Take care.